You should know not to trust Kyrsten Sinema on account of her name, Sinema. Sinema. That's a porn name. And yet, no porn. Not that anybody would want to see that shit, but you get my point. She's a born liar. This is her speech where she's going to justify stripping us all of our voting rights and explain why it's necessary for her to open your door and introduce your children to the pack of hungry wolves that are waiting outside of your house.
Mr. President.
The senator from Arizona.
Thank you.
The sociopath from Arizona.
Thank you. I rise at a challenging, divisive time for our nation. For years, America's politics have spiraled steadily downward into increasingly bitter tribal partisanship, and our democracy has been strained.
Our democracy has been strained. We are facing a right-wing authoritarian coup. We're also facing an environmental cataclysm of which this authoritarian organization has no interest in dealing with. I wonder if Sinema has any solutions for us.
While that may sound abstract, it is a problem that hurts Americans in real, tangible ways. These deepening divisions hurt our ability to work together to create new job opportunities, protect the health and safety of our communities and country, and to ensure everyday families get ahead.
Which is why she voted against the $15 minimum wage, and she voted to protect Big Pharma, and why she decided to strip us of our voting rights. She has a solution. It's obedience. She would prefer that we all tap dance our way into the gas chambers without objecting too much, because that may be perceived as being rude.
Americans across the country know this. They see it every day, not only on social media and cable news, but at their jobs and around their dinner tables.
Around their dinner tables, like when I go home for Thanksgiving dinner and I get into an argument with my racist Uncle Frank. Let me tell you something about my Uncle Frank. My Uncle Frank is so racist that all the other guys in the Ku Klux Klan, they call him Frank the Racist. But Kyrsten Sinema would like you to believe that there's a common ground between white supremacy, that kind of virulent, angry white supremacy, and simple anti-racism. There's some common ground between battling the threat that is climate change and accelerating climate change. There's a common ground there somewhere. That there's a common ground between fascism and representative democracy. Yeah, no one's that stupid. I mean, I'm sure she's stupid. She certainly acts stupid, but if I threw her a basketball, if I tossed her a basketball, she wouldn't try to eat it, right? Despite the way she dresses. She's not a dummy, right? I mean, she knows. She believes in voting rights because she was voted in and she accepted the seat. She knows that her political career is probably over. I mean, the Republicans won't have her. The Democratic voters won't have her. So why would she be doing that? Well, I would think back to when the FDA allowed the opioid crisis to occur. The pharmaceutical companies didn't bribe them. They simply promised them high-paying jobs. So they bribed them. She was probably promised a job somewhere. She's a coke whore. K-O-C-H. Coke whore. Just in case you're misunderstanding me. Although, let's be honest, she probably has traded sex for cocaine at some point in her life. You could just tell with some people.
We are divided. It is more likely today that we look at other Americans who have different views and see the other, or even see them as enemies, instead of as fellow countrymen and women who share our core values.
Like democracy?
It's more common today to demonize someone who thinks differently than us, rather than to seek to understand their views.
Hey, man. Just because you have some disagreements with Adolf Hitler, that doesn't give you the right to call him a Nazi. The Democratic Party needs to demonize her. Her and her little dog, Senator Joe Mancunt. These people are, in fact, demons. And they need to be dumped. Like I dump my McDonald's breakfast every morning. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not. To me, political parties are just a tool. And right now, the most powerful tool we have to protect our right to vote is the Democratic Party, because all of them voted for voting rights. All of them clearly support voting rights except for two of them. Why do we need these two people? All they're doing is creating this false image that that everything is the Democrats' fault. And you know what? Any leftists that are getting mad at me about this fucking video, feel free to cry in the fucking comments, because you know you won't fucking debate me about this. I'm going to leave you with a little quote from George W. Bush, who said about the Republican Party, "If you're not with us, you're against us." Well, I agree with George W. Bush when it comes to the Republican Party. If you're not against them, you're with them.